States of people and about 3/4 of the country in doing so. I have no respect for that person. Neither is that person worthy of honor. I can't. I still don't understand what happened today, and I don't. I think I don't want to know. And I'm done giving this worm publicity. We're done talking about this. So we all know that the Mueller report. This is what you've all been waiting for. We know that the Mueller report is in. The investigation is over. 2 years and tens of millions of dollars of your money were spent perpetrating another hoax. They were spent pushing another hoax. And there's no ifs, ands, buts, whys, or hows about it. It is indecently and violently simple what happened here. So 2 years, $36 million. A lot of the media is using $25 million. The report from the White House that I read, they confirmed myself the White House's position, which I trust a heck of a lot more than CNN. It says that the number is $36 million in taxpayer dollars, and that should make you angry beyond anything that you've ever been angry about. They spent this $36 million in these 2 years of your time and your viewing pleasure in any of the news networks. They spent it on 2,800 subpoenas. 2,800 subpoenas, 500 search warrants, 230 communication records. By the way, communication record is like a call log. It's where the phone companies, you can say, give me a list of all my phone calls and text messages. That's a communication record. Excuse me. 230 people's phone records, 50 pen registers, and that's their new tech word for spy crap that just means phone tap. It's an actual phone tap. That's like the FBI's listening to your call. 1980s conspiracy theory movies where you leave the phone off the hook, but if you call it and it rings, that's a pen register. That's somebody actually tapping your phone. They tap 50 separate phones. 13 requests for evidence from other governments. They actually requested 13 separate requests for information from other governments, and they interviewed 500 witnesses. And I laughed when I got to the last one, because we all know collusion's a hoax. We all know Russia collusion has been a BS lie from the start. You know it, I know it, most of the American people know it. The problem is that there's a lot of people who don't. And that's what's scary, is this was weaponized misinformation. This is weaponized misinformation meant to discredit a president and delegitimize a duly elected president. It is a direct attack on democracy. And 500 witnesses, and I'm really, really interested in... I want to see more than just the report. I want to see the entire file of evidence minus all of the 6E information. 6E information is information that could be hurtful to the grand jury as to their identities and who they are, etc. Or information that could complicate a separate ongoing investigation or ongoing matter, even if it's separate from Trump or from Russia or from hacking, etc. So 6E information is just information that cannot safely be put out there for public interest or legal interest or what have you. So I want to see the whole file. I want to see the names of all of these 500 people, and I want to know if 3 people in particular are on that list, and that's what I'm dying to know. I want to know if Clinton is on that list. I want to know if Comey is on that list, and I want to know if Obama is on that list. And you absolutely cannot say with a straight face that Obama had nothing to do with this. And I'm going to get right into this because this is where it gets really good, and this is what makes me angry. I'm furious. You have this whole thing stems from the fake dossier. I don't care if somebody says, well, no, it was a news story. No, the Russia collusion comes from the dossier. There's no other way to put it. It comes from the fake dossier. And this is the fake dossier that was paid for by the Clintons, obtained by the DNC, made its way to Comey, the FBI director serving under Barack Obama, in Comey's own words, served at the pleasure of the president, which is why Trump can fire him, is because the FBI director works at the pleasure of the president. There's no way that dossier made it into Comey's hands. And then he used it knowingly by his own admission in FISA court, Foreign Intelligence Act. It's Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act. And what it is spy court. It's where you go when there's a suspected terrorist or a suspected spy, and you want to wiretap their phones, and you want to pull their cell phone records, and you want to pull the tag on the vehicle that they're driving and see what information it comes back to, and you want to bug their house. You go to FISA court and you get a FISA warrant. And this was done against a U.S. presidential candidate. And it continued well into his campaign and probably into the very beginning of his presidency. 4 separate times FISA warrants were issued. That's a confirmed number. 4 separate times, at least Comey, if not other intelligence agency directors or higher-ups, went to FISA court and obtained spy warrants against the now President of the United States. Now, there is not a chance in anywhere. God, I wish I could curse. That would be so much fun on this show. But I'm not going to do it because I actually want to end up on the radio one day, and it'll never get past a podcast if I do. There's no way that Clinton bought this fake Russian dossier from Russians. That sounds a lot more like collusion to me. Got it to Comey. Comey got spy warrants against Trump, wiretapped Trump Tower, and the information that they overheard on the phone calls or pulled from the phone records or from the bugs and it all, whatever they did, didn't get back to Clinton and to Obama. Obama and Clinton are good friends. Comey serves at the pleasure of the president. So you cannot tell me that Clinton bought this dossier. That's confirmed information. That's truth and fact. It was obtained by the DNC, confirmed truth and fact. That's where Comey got it, by his own admission, confirmed truth and fact, and then took it to FISA court, got spy warrants against the president, took it and used the spy warrants to bug the president's phones. Remember when Trump came out and said, my phones are being tapped, and everybody laughed at him, and CNN made fun of him, and MSNBC made fun of him, and Rachel Madcow made fun of him. And our favorite, I think AOC was on the scene at this point. I think our favorite misfiring brain cell was in on it and called him delusional and paranoid and questioned his mental health. No, it's true. They bugged his phones. We know it. They admit it. There's no way you can tell me that Clinton bought this dossier from the Russians, gave it to Comey, it got to spy court, they bugged Trump's phones, but Obama didn't know, he didn't hear about it, he had no way of knowing, and that information didn't get back to Obama's best friend and Comey's good buddy, the Clintons, who gave him the fake Russian dossier. Bull. You know that to be true. You know it. So I want to know, was Comey questioned? Was he one of the 500 witnesses that was interviewed by Mueller? It was Mueller, 19 federal prosecutors, 19 judges, or 19 attorneys for the federal government, 40 FBI agents, intelligence analysts, etc. I want to know who questioned Comey, Obama, and Clinton. I want to know, and you cannot tell me that they did not know. And this is where Russian collusion comes from. It comes from those 3. You got to think about this. They knew Trump was going to win. We all knew Trump was going to win. We had our fear, and we didn't count our eggs before they hatched. But we knew he was going to win unless this election was stolen or scammed from him from the Democrats. And we don't put that past the socialists and the Democrats and the left. My good buddy, KB Rip, Ken Ballas of WPTR. I spent an hour on the phone with my buddy Ken today, and I hope he's one of the guys that's in watching live now. I hope you are, Ken. Thank you. So, dude, it was awesome to be on the phone with you for an hour today. Thank you. My buddy KB Rip says, say no to LSD. Liberal socialists and Democrats. He says libtards, liberal socialists and Democrats. And I love it, and I'm stealing it, but I got to give him credit for it. There is no way that they didn't know. And there's no way that this wasn't the insurance policy that Strzok and Page were talking about. There's no way. I don't believe it for 1 second. I also want to know if Strzok and Page are some of those 500 witnesses, especially considering they potentially they didn't, but they almost faced their own indictments for the crimes, and they had to answer for them in front of Congress. And I'm really, really disappointed that nobody went to prison over that. Think about this. You have the sitting president of the United States colluding with a presidential candidate who is buying fake Russian dossiers from the Russians to try to destroy the credibility of the other political candidate. This is corruption at its finest. This is, in my opinion, the highest level of corruption that we have seen since well before Watergate. I don't know that anything has ever truly, especially not in my lifetime, not in my 30 years. No, there is no way that anything that this criminal has really truly been done. A sitting president of the United States colludes with a candidate who colludes with the Russians and weaponizes the FBI, colludes with the FBI director to keep a candidate from getting elected. And the Democrats constantly want to talk about democracy. We're a constitutional republic, by the way. We're not a democracy. In a democracy, 51% of the people can change all the rules and they can take everything that you have. In a constitutional republic like we are, you have rights, and 99% can say or try whatever they want, but your rights are inalienable, just so we're clear. But the left talks about democracy and the left talks about fairness. Yeah, right. This is the highest level of corruption that I've ever heard about. And here we are dealing in fake Russian dossiers and midterm election frauds. And this is what happens when you end up with socialists in your government. This is what happens when you end up with the extreme left. This is what happens when you elect Democrats. It's a power grab. That's all it has ever been. That's all the party has ever been. Period. So here we are, and the report is handed in, and Attorney General Barr writes a letter to Lindsey Graham, the real Spartacus. I love Lindsey Graham. Gun-grabbing Dianne Feinstein, and Jerry Nadler, who I've come to call him the Tub. If you've ever seen the guy, oh my God, this embarrassment. He is an embarrassment. Who elected this guy? Have you seen Jerry? Google Jerry Nadler. Seriously, pause the show. I'll wait. I'll wait. Pause and go Google a photo of Jerry Nadler and ask me who thought this guy should definitely represent the United States. Absolutely. Jerry Nadler and then Doug Collins, who's a sitting senior member, I believe, of one of the committees, Judiciary Committee maybe, and told him in this letter that he is working on it as fast as he can. He is going to release the entirety of the report minus the 6E information, minus the information that cannot be publicized in the report for interests of national security or security of other investigations and identities of grand juries, etc. And said he even requested the special counsel's assistance, Mueller's, or however you say his name, assistance and the assistance of his team in processing this as fast as we can. And the Democrats go nuts in their grandstanding. They say, we want the whole report released. We want it all. We want it all released. Are you kidding me? No, you don't. No, you don't. You're grandstanding because you know that if you don't come out and say you want the report released, they're going to know that you really don't want it released. And we all know that anyway. It's an exercise in frugality is what it is. And you have Jerry Nadler, the Tub, going on the radio and actually saying, well, this is not an exoneration. He said that on one of the shows, and so did Schiff. And I'm not even going to give the guys the publicity. Not happening. These two idiots went on the radio and went on TV and went on CNN and MSNBC, and they actually said, well, this isn't an exoneration. He's not exonerated. They just found no evidence. You're telling me that there's possibly still evidence out there after 2 years, $36 million of my money, 2,800 subpoenas, 500 search warrants, 230 phone and text message records, 50 phone taps where you listen to people's phone calls, 13 requests for information that you requested from other governments, and 500 individual people that you went and spoke to. You're telling me that he's not exonerated and that there's potentially evidence out there, and he must have. Schiff has been saying forever, there's ample evidence that a felony has been committed, or there's ample evidence that a crime has been committed, but he's never elaborated. He has never